So yesterday, I woke up to a text from my good friend AAB777, aka Ravi, and he says, and I quote, "Whenever you get a chance, can you make a thumbnail with these photos as well as a pic of Benoit?" And it's him with the rock, and it's him in front of the Chris Benoit house from 2011. And I had to make revisiting Chris Benoit's house 10 years later thumbnail. There was an edit in the title that I
It was
made.
9 years later, by the way. I like
That's
that.
what I told him. I said, I was like, it's 9 years. It's not 10 years. It's 9 years. And I said, I guess 10 is better to say than 9. But so I was talking to my good friend Luke over here. Luke, how's it going?
Luke, care, you're sorry.
Get your yeah, it's a pleasure to be back on the podcast after a couple weeks or so.
And he said that he has some heat with one Ravi.
Oh, look at you, Mike.
What did I do?
You text, you get a little text ski to Mike. Mike gives a little text ski to me, and we got Luke on via request, dude.
Well, okay. So when that video dropped, I was like, oh boy, because I'm a quarter of that story, obviously. And so he went on and he gave his side or his version of events. And obviously I wasn't able to chime in and give the full story and complete the other half. So I'm like, oh, great. This is going to get me a ton of heat because, well, if you want to break it down really quick, if you want to hit the highlights, what was it? Like a 10-minute video, something like that. And he said it was, he basically put all the blame on me. He said it was Luke's idea. He looked up the address and found it on Google, which is all true, but just the way he said it. And saying that, all Luke wanted to do was walk up the steps and he got what he wanted and he left. Okay, yes, I did want to walk up the steps to the
Hold
floor.
on, I want to ask a question before you go. I was like, why'd you want to go to the Benoit house?
Because I knew that I would never see it again, and I haven't to this day.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to preface
What's
this
your show?
podcast by, I would like to say that personally, I have no problem with the four of you going to that Benoit house in 2011 or at any time, because I would probably do the same thing, but I do have a problem with you fools walking and ringing the stupid doorbell. I don't understand how you could think. No. What are you going to do? You were going to go up to the thing, and what if they answered the door and said, "Oh, please, strangers that are wrestling fans that obviously are here because a person did a horrible thing in this house. Come inside, take pictures, take video."
No,
do you really think they were going to do that? What was going through your mind, Luke?
Look at this fucking smear job. Okay, now I have to clear this up.
Please clear it up, because I do not agree with this. All of you.
No. Listen to me. First of all, I was a 19-year-old kid.
I understand that.
That's fine. That's fine. When you're 19, you're like, whatever.
Yes, exactly. But my point is, yes, I did want to at least walk up the steps to the front door just to say I did that. And if you noticed, that was half the reason why I left. I was like, okay, Ravi was right about that. But the other half was, I did not want whoever was living in that house, I did not want to be yelled at by these people, and I didn't want to go through the embarrassment of saying, get off our property, whatever I thought they were going to say. So I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm out. And you see the video, and I bail. And, of course, I think Steve's video with like 100,000 plus views or whatever, you get a lot of people in the comment section saying, oh, look at that pussy running away, he saw a ghost or something. So then...
The fact that you read the comments.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I have never been involved with a video with that many views, so of course I was fishing for anything that mentioned me.
That's Breach's most viewed video with 429,000 views.
Yeah, and I think we discussed this on another podcast, how he tweets out Chris Benoit Murder House every day.
And I hate it.
And he'll tweet it out today when he sees this video.
Mm-hmm.
So then my third...
He'll tweet it with the video. Like, he'll tweet the link, and then he'll quote it, and then it'll be this video, because, obviously he's going to get himself over first. Continue.
Yeah. Well, my third bone of contention with this story, and I don't even remember this, but I guess it may be true, but just the way Ravi said it, he's like, well, maybe we should take something, making it sound like, a souvenir or something like that. And, there was these little rocks that they were outside of the gate. They weren't necessarily on the property. So, but he made it seem like, let's steal something so we can have like a morbid souvenir. Yeah. So, we all took a rock, and like Ravi said in the videos, he took a rock the size of a cantaloupe, and I took one the size of a baseball, which I eventually chucked in a creek or a pond rather 4 years ago.
I
Because
like how Ravi took a rock and said he was gonna do a little split ski with you three. Like he was gonna drop it on the ground. You guys are gonna take a piece of the rock.
yeah, well, and I remember there. I can't believe he didn't mention this in the video, but I remember there being some sort of. It ended up in Steve's bag, and Ravi got hot and saying like, "You're trying to steal my Benoit rock." And Steve's like, "Oh." I could have swore that was a thing, but Ravi never mentioned it in the video. But I guess Steve tried to steal that big cantaloupe-sized rock. But no, that was all I wanted to clear up. And and I do not remember getting chased by two men in a pickup truck.
What?
Actually, Ravi told me that story like probably like after the first couple times we like hung out. He told me that whole
Wait,
you guys were followed for like 20 minutes, and like
I never
I was
heard
like,
that.
oh,
I never heard that story. Explain it to
you
me. I
told me that
didn't
in
watch the video.
2013, and
I
that
didn't
was
watch
like what 2 years after the fact. So to this day, he still remembers that.
I have no memory of it. It wasn't until the video that he made I was like, "What the hell is he talking?" I really tried to rattle my brain. I could not. I was probably so fucking traumatized, but everything else he said was pretty accurate. It was really out there, and it was like this rich neighborhood where it was a ways in there, and it really was secluded. And he wanted to have a private home, that's for sure. And it was. Oh, and by the way, Ravi said there was a river across the way. It was actually a lake. Quite a big difference, but it wasn't a flowing river next to the Benoit house. No, but no, it was a once in a lifetime thing. And I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, it was disrespectful. Why did you like Mike just chastised me earlier? Why did you guys even go up to their port?" No, I don't think we even expected to go inside the house. Hey, let's get some crime scene photos. Get out of the way. I don't think there was any of that. I definitely did not expect to go inside. So let's get
But
that.
what was your reasoning of wanting to go to the steps even? You know what I mean? Like that's like someone's property and they're just like,
I
you just
I agree with you. I mean, me today, I wouldn't have done that. I would have been outside the gate and have taken a picture and then moved along my merry way. But I was 19 and stupid, and we were all young, and we knew it was a once in a lifetime thing. We were never going to be back there, and sure enough, nearly a decade later, none of us have been back there. So, and who else can say they've done that? I mean, not a whole lot.
well,
I was gonna
apparently
say, so
oh, go
like
ahead.
it was at the time, like 2000, mid 2000s, early 2000s, I guess. Was Benoit like one of your favorite wrestlers?
Yeah, yeah, he was in my top 10 of all time before everything happened. I mean, his poster was on my wall. I had his action figure. I mean, I was a huge, huge Benoit fan. I maintain this to this day, and no one likes praise for him, obviously. But I mean, if you were just trying to separate the wrestler from the person, he honestly is the greatest technical wrestler that has ever lived, and I don't think there's any disputing that. There just isn't. But yeah, he was one of my all-time favorites.
So like I remember that day, and I remember like that coming out, Benoit died, and like watching Raw because I remember it was supposed to be like a special 3 hour Raw, and then they did that whole thing, and like then it was like the next day, they like you found out Benoit double murder suicide, yeah, that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Um, and then like the replay of Raw, I just like turned on the TV like, oh my god, are they gonna play this again? And then like that was it, it was gone. They didn't
Well,
even play Raw.
I guess not to open up any old wounds. I mean, yeah, I mean it haunts all wrestling fans who lived through it, I think. But I found out on WWE.com, and I had known about the family emergency. I had kept up with that, and I knew that's why he had missed the pay-per-view or whatever. It was online, and then it said Benoit family found dead. I was like, oh my god, he went home and found his family dead. That's fucked up. And then it said like he was included in that, and I'm like, what? It's
Hmm.
just major confusion. And yeah, and then I remember my brother's best friend was telling me, yeah, like, oh, my mom was doing some research online and they're thinking he may have done it. I'm like, no, that'd be like Eddie Guerrero killing his kids, man. No way. And sure enough, but yeah.
Yeah.
Not a good
I
deal.
remember. What was I gonna say? I was on www.com too. I never read dirt sheets at the time. I don't think I read dirt sheets till like 09, 2010.
Yeah, I just started reading them in '07, so that was around the time, mania time, I'd say.
I remember waking up and like the news was already on TV like when I woke up, and like I remember sitting like on the couch, and then like that's when I found out that they were explaining it like, oh, professional wrestler, and I was like, dang, like, and obviously I was young, so I was trying to understand everything that was going on, but I obviously was a fan of him because he was great at wrestling, and I remember him from WrestleMania 23 because I watched that show so many times in the United States Championship match. I think it was against MVP,
That's such a
and
random moment.
I know, but that's like the one moment that I always think about because I watch that show like constantly.
Oh, I know. That was your DVD. That was like everyone has that one DVD or VHS that they watch over and over and over again.
That was
Yep.
my first wrestling DVD. Yeah.
Dude, mine was that Undertaker 3-disc set where it was 3 discs piled on top of each other into one single case. It was came out.
Oh yeah. I
Oh,
remember that.
dude, that may have been the best WWE DVD ever. That was so
That is
amazing.
that. So that your first ever one you would rewatch, not like any VHSs at the time.
No, that and the Mick Foley DVD that came out in '04, but no VH. No, actually, no, the Austin 316 uncensored. I found at a pawn shop once, like in the early 2000s. I forget when that came out, but it was uncensored. It was him saying, fuck. I'm like, oh my God, he said fuck.
Mine was King in the Ring '01 VHS, and because every time I think of DVDP, I think of that stupid Undertaker DDP when he was stalking his wife,
Yeah.
and Survivor Series '02, which is like
Oh.
a great pay-per-view.
You know what's funny about Survivor Series '02, the DVD cover, is that they used the 1998 picture of Shawn Michaels randomly. It's like you couldn't take a picture of the guy in present day. I don't know. He's there with a beard and he's all pilled out, and you're like, he's in the chambers in the background. Like this seems. Go look at it if you don't believe me.
That's like an all-time like. I know they had like the random RVD, like if you fold out the insert inside the RVD poster, but like I wish I had that DVD cover poster just to get signed because I pretty much met almost everybody on there
Oh
besides
yeah,
Kane.
that was in an old '02 issue of WWE Magazine or Raw Magazine, I think. Some big RVD poster like that.
Like if they ever released old pay-per-view posters, like I would buy that one just to keep because that's like an iconic
You
poster
know
for
what
me.
what's a hidden gem? Their WWE poster books. They it would be the size of a magazine, but in there were these posters where you unfold them and they're the size of
Mm-hmm.
a coffee table. I mean, it was just like, oh my God.
Dude,
Yeah.
I bought that in like 2009 or 2008 or something, and that was legitimately my entire room at one point. I had like
Oh,
the
that
one of
was
Vince. I had Hornswoggle on the box. Like,
I had it. You know where my plaque wall was when I did my chair and the
mhm.
plaques. That's what that whole wall used to be just those posters.
Yep, that was a really good magazine. I feel like they should do that more often.
Well, they don't make
'Cause
magazines anymore.
I know
Well,
it's like a special thing.
they did in later years, and you have a piece of it, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
The cardboard poster book where it's like, man, like 2 feet long and like 12 feet wide, and it's unbelievable color cardboard material. And I had Randy Orton sign the No Mercy '08 poster that was in there.
Let me tell you, the one of the best things, and we could like kind of wrap up on this. One of the best things ever is when Luke was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna like send you a box of like merch like from my collection," and I was like, "Okay," wasn't expecting anything crazy, and then he sends me this like huge box, and I go through it, and like there's a bunch of like crazy like things in there that I've never seen before. Awesome like magazines and like a signed Christian magazine. There was like a Shawn Michaels. The Boyhood Dream WWF magazine after he won the title. And I'm looking through these, and there is that book that Luke was explaining where it's this really nice, like, poster cardstock, like, book filled with different, like, old pay per view posters. And I'm looking through it, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I go to the front, and all of a sudden, one of my favorite shows of all time, No Mercy 2007, Randy Orton on the poster with the dove, signed by Randy Orton. That has to be one of the greatest things that I've ever gotten from anybody. Like that is my all-time favorite show. I know it gets a lot of crap, but
How's it not on your wall?
it was, dude. When I painted, I had to like switch everything down. I don't know where it's at now, but that was like one of the main things that was on my wall all the time.
Wow, I'm just now finding out that's your favorite show of all time. That makes me feel better, even more better that I
Oh,
sang that.
I thought I told you that at the time. No, in 2007, I had two DVDs. I got WrestleMania 23 when that came out, and I got No Mercy 2007, because that one was in Chicago. And like I know, like Vince starts off the show talking about like like being a Diamondbacks fan because they were facing the Cubs in the playoffs, and then like he gives Randy Orton the title, and then Triple H wins it, and then Triple H faces Umaga, and then you got the Punjabi prison match, and then you end the show with Randy Orton winning the title back in the last man standing, and then the next night Shawn Michaels comes back. Dude, that's like prime me as a fan. So
Well,
yeah, that's
in case anyone's wondering if I lost my mind about sending him a Randy Orton autograph, honestly, it was just the real reason why I threw that in there is because it was just too big to keep. It's like 2 feet long. I was like, all right, well, this will be cool. But I didn't know that was your favorite show of all time. I'm glad you have that now. But
oh, that was awesome. Huge pop, huge pop. But I gotta find that now, dude. I think is that right there?
oh,
It was
good. I'm
on my
glad you
wall.
lost it.
No, dude, it was on my wall, like, and I saw it like all the time, and then I painted, and now it's like, I don't even know. I'll look for it. I'm gonna tweet a picture. And I got the WrestleMania 31 what's it called program because I didn't get that the first time. So
I could have sworn I sent you multiple Mania
you
programs. Is that
did, yeah, you
okay?
did. But that was like the main one because I didn't have that program.
Again, those are too big to keep. I don't know. We'll get into that at another time.
Yeah, we can talk about
Tomorrow's
that.
podcast, we'll be talking about Luke again. We'll be back on talking about wrestling figures and collecting and all that shit.
Exactly. So we'll
Which will be
talk.
recorded in the next 20 seconds.
There you go.
Talk to you again
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
See ya.